It can feel like your goals live and die by the power of your cravings. One moment you feel like you're on top of the world, then you have a craving, you cave in and feel completely defeated. Cravings can keep you stuck, wishing if only you didn't like ice cream, chips, cake, or Oreos. You name it. Cravings come in all varieties and flavors, but there are a few things they all have in common, whether you have a sweet tooth or a savory one. Hey, it's Kara and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about cravings, but more specifically, we're going to talk about the 4 steps to overcoming them quickly. Now, you might be a little skeptical about that. I mean, most people assume it takes a while to overcome a craving. After all, you probably had a thing for ice cream for as long as you can remember. People mistake cravings as something they just have to live with, as if it's part of your DNA and you have no choice over the matter. And if you want to get into the science, you could certainly argue that you may be predisposed to certain food preferences based on your genetics. But that doesn't mean you're powerless in the face of cravings. And that's the good part about what I'm going to share. If you follow these steps, you'll be able to overcome those cravings quickly. I've seen the biggest sugar addicts overcome their cravings. Like Kelly, who is one of my Stuck to Thriving clients. She's a self-proclaimed sugar addict. In fact, she couldn't be in the same room as sugar or treats. Otherwise, it was game over. It was like the cookies and sweets called out to her from the pantry. But I laid out these 4 simple steps for her. She followed them and the result was amazing. Soon after I gave her what I'm about to share with you, she told me something that even surprised me a little bit. Oreos had been her kryptonite. Whenever they came into their house, they never lasted long. But she overcame her cravings with these 4 simple but powerful steps. In fact, she had a bag of Oreos sitting on her kitchen counter for so long that she had to throw them away. I can't even imagine that, right? Now, this is even more powerful for 2 reasons. First, she didn't even feel tempted by them. She could walk right past them and they no longer called out to her like they used to. She wasn't white-knuckling it either. She didn't have to will herself to avoid them each day. They were literally out on her kitchen counter, the same one she walked past several times each and every day. So how do we quickly get you from being controlled by your cravings to no longer having cravings that control you? First, before we get into these 4 steps, you need to realize that conquering your cravings doesn't mean avoiding them. This is really important. You can't run from them forever. If that's your plan, well, eventually you'll run into them again. Second, no amount of willpower will last forever. Cravings are sneaky. They'll catch you off guard if you don't deal with them. These cravings have been standing in your way for too long. I'm sure of it. So let's talk about how to beat these cravings once and for all. So these 4 steps to overcoming your cravings are meant to be like a fast-acting medicine to give you quick results. So the first step is to replace and don't just eliminate. Let's say you're hung up on your cravings for salty tortilla chips. I'm actually picking on my husband who's behind the camera right now. He used to have a problem with eating lots of tortilla chips at night after dinner, right before bed. Not the best thing to be eating late in the evening, but instead of just not eating chips anymore, he replaced that craving for a healthier option. And that involves identifying what it is about the food or drink that you crave. Is it something sweet? Well, then keep some fresh berries in the fridge. Or if you enjoy something more savory, keep nuts on hand like cashews or pistachios. Another great example for you soda drinkers, if you're trying to kick your soda addiction, swap your soda for sparkling water. Grab a club soda and squeeze a lime or lemon into it, or even both. I found that one of the things people enjoy most about soda is the carbonation, and the added fruit juice provides just enough sweetness to satisfy that craving. But don't just try to eliminate the habit altogether. Behavioral studies show we're far more likely to break a habit when we replace it with another one. So let's go over a few examples to get you started. So I already mentioned sparkling water and fruit to replace soda. You can also do spindrift. You could swap fresh or dried fruit, or my personal favorite, raspberry stuffed with the chocolate chip, for candy or other sweets. Another example would be a date with peanut butter if you're craving something sweet. Or I really love just dark chocolate too, to make it really simple. You could also do nuts instead of chips. And if you're thinking there's no way some dried fruit is going to satisfy my sweet tooth, then step number 2 is going to help you a lot. So step number 2 is to lower your taste thermostat. Have you ever wondered how people enjoy eating healthy? They'll enjoy a piece of fruit like it's a piece of candy or something. I'm going to let you in on just a little secret. It all has to do with their taste thermostat. If you're always being drawn to junk food and you're unable to enjoy healthy foods like fruits and veggies, then yours needs to be reset. Resetting or lowering your taste thermostat allows your brain and taste buds to enjoy the more subtle flavors of fruit and vegetables. So there was a study that focused on cleaning up people's nutrition so they would enjoy whole foods more. And it worked a lot faster than you would think. In just a short period, this group of sugar addicts and junk food fanatics said sweet foods and drinks tasted sweeter or too sweet. And 95% of them said moving forward they would use less or even no sugar. And here's the crazy part. According to the study, most of the participants stopped craving sugar within just 1 week. Lowering your taste thermostat is a lot simpler than you think and involves replacing your cravings with healthier options and being more intentional with your food choices. Focus on filling up 75% of your plate or more with unprocessed whole foods. When you do, you'll start to notice the more subtle flavors of these foods. The result will be you actually enjoying these foods and wanting to eat more of them. When you're intentional like this, within just a couple of weeks or less, you'll notice your preferences change. So before I get into our third step, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified each time I put out a new video to help you look and feel your best without feeling deprived or relying on dieting. All right, so the third step is to make the healthier option easier. Your environment either encourages or it discourages your healthy habits. It's so important that you create an environment that will reduce your need to rely on willpower. We can do this by placing healthy foods at eye level and at the front of the fridge or even out on the counter, like a bowl of fruit or a jar of nuts. Then go just a step further and be sure to put the unhealthy options and treats in the back of the pantry or in the storage room, just somewhere less convenient. You'd be really surprised how putting something in the back of the fridge will cause you to eat less of it. Just that little inconvenience can have a huge impact. The easier something is to grab, the more likely you will be to eat it. So by making the healthy choice easy, you're setting yourself up for success and preventing yourself from having to rely on willpower. It's important to create the type of environment where the habits that you want to form will thrive, an environment that makes them obvious and easier to incorporate each day. So the last step is to make sure that you're eating enough. You gotta make sure that you're not working against yourself. Have you ever gone to the grocery store while you're hungry? I know I have. You end up just wanting anything and everything you walk past, especially the junk food. When you're hungry, your cravings get out of control. You'll want to eat anything if you're hungry enough. But the best way to avoid this is to make sure you're eating enough. If you find yourself getting snacky, there's a really good chance you didn't eat enough at the previous meal. If your cravings hit most often during the afternoon, then maybe you need to be eating a bit more for lunch. The same can be said for dinner if you end up succumbing to cravings late in the evening. And sometimes the urge to eat is really just out of boredom or habit, or it might be association you've developed over time. Eating while watching TV goes hand in hand for a lot of people. And if that's you and you feel like you need to be eating something while watching TV, then try sipping on some caffeine-free tea at night or snacking on some popcorn, the kind that isn't loaded with salt and butter though. This will really curb your desire to snack with a less calorie-intense option. If you're wanting to lose weight and decrease inflammation and you want a proven strategy for how to do it without dieting or feeling deprived, then I'd love to talk with you about Stuck to Thriving. It's the simple step-by-step blueprint that has helped thousands of women lose weight and decrease inflammation for good. I've put the link in the description below. You can click the link to speak with someone from my team to see if Stuck to Thriving is right for you. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you catch my simple nutrition tips each week to help you reach your goals, maintain them, and build upon them.